Can you hear me, brother? Oh,
Hello?
you can't hear me?
Nope. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Who are you listening to then?
Hey,
Yeah.
this is Web Slingers podcast. Do you know that?
It's
Hey,
something, I'm telling you.
hey, you can hear me though, right?
Having fun though. Yeah, I can hear you good, brother. You sound awesome.
Good. You hear that car that just drove by?
Yeah, I think it was a 1973 Pinto.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, we made fun back then, but you'd definitely take one out, wouldn't you?
I would. They're cool when they're souped up with big wheels on the back and everything. That way nobody
Yeah.
hits the gas tank real easy.
What was wrong with them? Just unsafe? Gas tanks blew up or something?
The same as the Mustang that if they got hit, they blow up from
Oh,
behind.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember Firestone had problem with tires where but
Yeah, that was
on
on the
some,
Explorer when I first got in the car business, kind of. Well, a few years later after I got in the car business,
yeah.
but yeah.
Do you remember like some news program got in trouble because they were trying to show extra how dangerous it was and they had like planted like explosives in the gas tank or something to give it more of an effect for the news program
Right.
because they
No, I
couldn't
don't
get it.
remember.
Yeah, they were
They,
doing that. Or maybe that was one of the four trucks or something where they had hit
they
it
couldn't
from the
get one to
side.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah, they weren't getting what they wanted, so they were making it a little,
a little better with the TV.
yeah, a little better for the news
That's
program.
so that's why Trump said you can't believe the news people.
Fake news. It's
Fake
fake.
news. I
It's
know
fake
it's
news.
funny because a lot of people, even I can't even think of his name, but he's a big news anchor now, like really well known. And he's like, Donald Trump is the one that got me to believe the media messed with stuff even. And he was in the media, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Is he like a Tucker Carlson type or
Tucker.
is
Yeah,
he
it's Tucker. Yeah,
oh it is Tucker?
it is Tucker. Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
realized how the media kind of it really does sort of push the narrative of what the country wants you to do, you know.
Right.
And it sounds
Mhm.
like that's just bullshit speak, you know what I mean? But it
Right.
is kind of funny, how they want you to be
Right.
fearful of this and that. There's a lot of fear tactics in there, but
Right. That's why I
that
say I
goes.
wonder how much funding they actually do to. But you know what's funny? All of them fund the presidents and that stuff coming into office. Like Netflix and all of them. And
Oh
I'm like,
yeah,
why? Why would they be worried about politics? It's an entertainment channel thing. You know what I mean? Or business.
Facebook,
Yeah,
Twitter.
all of it. Why? Right.
Yeah, they were talking to Facebook about like why would they even it's almost like don't mix church and state. You know what I mean? Like why
Yeah.
why does the government have to start messing with Facebook? But if they want to find your face, they got all that face recognition equipment and
Right.
all that.
It's
They
there's
don't worry
just
about
so much personal information you put out there on Facebook. It's almost like, if somebody would have thought of, oh, let's make this so everybody will give us all their information. Oh,
yeah,
we do have that. Facebook, all
they know
your
what
other,
you last night in some cases.
yeah, now you're walking around with your phone with the location on where you're at exactly any time of the day almost, you know?
It's a lot harder to turn it off. Do you remember when smartphones first came out? It was easy just to turn off your GPS stuff. Now it's
Mhm.
like you try to give permission to apps to turn stuff
Yeah,
off and are on there.
right.
It is. It's made it a lot harder to. They fill it up with so much bloatware. You get to the point where you just take whatever they throw at you. It's like, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
I don't care. It's like
Right.
they're tracking you. So be it.
Right. If they want to do something, they can anyways. I mean, there's no, evidently they don't play by the same rules we do. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, you ever watch the murder porn TV shows? Basically it's them addicting shows that people watch about murder. It's like
Yeah. I watch
murder
Small
now.
Town, or I listen to the podcast Small Town Murders, and Yeah, sport murders and sports or whatever.
Yeah, the
With
nickname
Jimmy
for
and
it,
Jim.
it's called murder porn. It's like 40
Women
hours.
love
Yeah. Yeah, they love,
it.
and like you'll watch it and it gets addictive, and you're like, how did they do it? And you're always thinking it's this guy or that guy, and you find out it's maybe somebody that was just a drifter. But
Right.
they, in many cases, they either find people are innocent because where their phone has been tracked, where they said they were, where they were, or
Right.
they find people's phone. I mean, a phone is like the new fingerprint. You're like, well, we see everywhere your phone went, and you were by this lake at this time, and you were by here, and you know. So
Right.
what's scary about this is the fact that if somebody wanted to set up a murder, they know, okay, I'm gonna have somebody run my phone over here,
Right.
So it's
Exactly.
like, yeah. So yeah, it's just but that's the problem with them shows. They show people, you know, what to do so they don't get caught, and
That's why
it's
them 5G antenna things, we're going to be fools if we don't think there's cameras on every one of them. Because that's the best way to get more cameras around where they're
oh
going to
yeah,
be. Because there's going to be so many of them the little antenna things.
my
Yeah.
phone right now. Right now, I got 3 cameras on the back. They're like, oh, this one does the micro picture. This one does the
Yeah.
long range picture. It's like,
Right.
it's like you got 3 cameras on the back of your phone. It's like, why you need three?
Yeah. I think I got 5.
I,
I
I,
think one's
I'll,
will take away red eye, the little dot thing. But yeah.
oh, my case got a slider on it. Yeah, I got 3, and good close
Yeah.
up
I got
picture.
one.
Hear me right
I
now?
don't use my case like that because I use the stylus on my phone. But yeah, I have one
Okay,
like that where it slides across. They're nice. Yeah.
my stylus, it pokes through the bottom of the phone, like, and
Does
then
it?
it has a hole in the case. But the
Right.
slide over cover, you know what? They don't call it. It's not really a protection for your lenses. You know what they call it?
What do they
It's
call it?
it's it's for it's spy
Privacy.
protection. So
Yeah.
people can't see what's going on with your phone. Well, you still got the front facing camera,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
suppose,
There's no way to stop that one.
yeah, uh, piece of tape. you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, going into Toyota, they put tape over it, red tape over your front camera and your back cameras
Oh, really?
when you walk in there as a visitor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Surprised they don't
Yeah.
like just make you put it in a plastic bag or something that's dark.
Yeah. Or just
But
say, hey, we're going to keep your phone while you're back there, but you can pick it up when you come back, you
well,
know?
like back or my early years of truck driving, I carried like 3 phones on me. You
Yeah.
know, like, oh, you need to take my phone? Okay, that's fine. I got 2 more in my
Right.
pocket.
I mean, here's my decoy. Yeah.
Right? You
Yeah.
got so back then is because certain phones wouldn't work good in certain areas, and
Mm.
yeah, it's just it's like what's to stop somebody from having a second phone? But
Right.
um,
Which now
yeah,
AT&T and Verizon, I think, are pretty equal, don't you think? Now
who Verizon?
Verizon and AT&T pretty
I still
equal.
I still think even though I use the AT&T towers, I still think Verizon's better. I think
I've been
Sprint,
with Verizon for so long that yeah,
yeah, Sprint and T-Mobile and all of them. I think even if they have the most 5G areas, I still think they got the worst coverage. Um, Obviously, it depends on where you live. I mean, people would argue that, but um, I think overall, when I had Verizon, I never had
Hmm.
problems pretty much anywhere driving around the country. Maybe a
Right.
little bit Wisconsin.
Well,
There was like 151. I think 151. I can't remember the name of
it's
the
always
highway.
one spot, and it's like they never have fixed them yet. It's what
No,
it seems like.
they made it good enough,
Hmm.
and then they're
Yep.
like, all right, let's get rid of the 2G. Let's have 3G, and then 4G, and then 5G. So if in them areas, the people, it's like, yeah, they got to have some shocky locky phone in them areas that I don't even know what phone system they use, but yeah, there's some real dead spots out there still, which is
Yeah,
insane.
I know. They have that Spectrum down here. I might try that next time. Go around and get me another phone just to test it out with. I won't get rid of my Verizon because I've been with Verizon nearly 15 years probably. Maybe longer.
Yeah, yeah,
So
you
I'd
were
hate
with
to get rid of Verizon.
Verizon a long time ago. I went with them
Yeah,
for
so
a while, but then um, I was like, man, what I'm paying for unlimited internet, I could pretty much get the whole family a phone, and then we went with Straight Talk, and then
right.
went with Cricket, which I get 4 phones for $100. But
Yeah.
I just deal with the fact that there's just going to be areas that don't work as great, which is fine. But most highways and most, if you're not off the beaten path too much, I mean, pretty much all the phone systems work with most of the U.S. highways and interstates. It's just if you get out in you know Timbuktu a
Unless you're
little.
by Jellystone out in Plymouth.
Yeah, but
That's the one dead zone everybody talks about that I talk to. You know,
yeah,
it's up there on 30, right there by Jellystone. We should
yeah.
ask people. Uh, can you get people to comment on your side and see what
Yeah.
comments they send in or anything?
Well, what they do is they okay. Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves since this is the first
Yeah,
episode. My name's Jim, and go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
yeah, and I'm the big brother, John.
Yeah, and we're real brothers from the same mother and same dad. No DNA test ever
Same
taken. We
same
assume
dad, no DNA. Yeah, we gotta make that clear too. Yeah.
there's been no no real proof, but you
I don't
know.
even know if that's really my mom, but we'll say it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So uh
That's an inside joke.
we really do have some of our traits, but we'll just leave it at that. Um
Yeah.
so and this show is called The Web Slingers. And you know we we both actually did grow up dreaming of being superheroes and Spider-Man
Man.
and Batman. I mean, even Wonder Woman, if not the girl part, but she had them like bracelets that can block bullets, and
Yeah. You
we'd
remember I
wear.
dressed up as not Wonder Woman? Who was it that I dressed up as? Some superhero girl though when I was a kid for Halloween. I can't
Oh,
remember. She had blonde hair. I know that. I don't
shit,
know who it would have been.
blonde hair
I don't know.
superhero.
I didn't know if it was a Bionic Woman or what it was.
You
I
know,
don't know.
I think it was. It probably was Bionic Woman.
Yeah, that's the only one I could think it could be. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, why the hell would you do that?
I
Just
didn't
you.
even care. I was like, man, I got a costume. He's broke.
Yeah, I remember. Man,
He
I
was
remember
poor.
putting paper bag. I would draw my own mask, you know,
Hmm.
and put it over my head. A paper bag, and just design my own mask. And yeah, I mean, out and
You know,
out.
what's funny, brother? I thought of uh, our podcast if we ever do a video one. Where we go on a show or anything, we should wear a mask.
Oh yeah,
E-
yeah. So
Even though they could look us up online pretty easy because my brother got on the internet real early on, and then in 2007 is when I really started on the internet. But so there's pictures out there of us. I know there is, but
yeah,
I still thought that just that little different, that people do.
yeah.
Have you ever
It's
seen that one Mexican guy that does songs and he wears a mask?
huh? No, I don't believe so.
He like mixes like two songs together. He's really knows what he's doing. He wears like all white. He's got a cool hoodie on, and he has a mask that's kind of a cool looking mask that looks like he had it made though. I'm like, that'd
Oh,
be cool to do that kind of setup like that even. But
back in the day, when you sent me that video of you in that Batman mask that was too tight, I laugh. It's the
oh
funniest shit ever.
man, I pay like $50 for that rubber one.
That rubber mask you had on,
Yeah,
that was great. Like,
I wish I
like if
had
you
that stuff.
Comic Con or something like that, where that. Oh, I died because you were just talking. Oh shoot, it was so funny.
Yeah,
But
I
that
should give me
video,
another.
that was funny. What sucks is like my favorite hero is right now is the Flash. And it's a bummer. This is probably gonna be the last season for it, but that's no fun because he don't wear a mask. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's like, well, no, he does wear a mask. That's true.
Yeah, he wears a mask.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he wears. Why am I say he's my favorite? And I was like, he don't wear a mask. No, he wears a mask. But the problem is they keep changing it or whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's true. He wears a mask, but you can pretty much tell who he is, just like Batman.
Yeah,
But yeah, I would have to. It's funny because the Flash is so opposite of me because I'm slow.
yeah.
You know, but
Call you, call
I
you
ain't
and me
really.
both plug, man. Huh?
Yeah, but that's the funny thing. If we were to ever, like I'm not looking for fame or anything. I'm just, this is a good way to spend time with my brother and have fun and, never know. Maybe something will come out of it.
And we
Um,
think we're funny, so yeah.
yeah, we think
And
we're
we
funny.
and we both thought about wanting to write a book because we came up. We were raising the projects. We're from a broken home. Dad from that fought in Vietnam. And just some of the '70s families. But we're one of those. That.
Yeah, just
Well,
this is something that's hilarious. Back in the day, when men went off the war, like World War II. Okay, this is something you never hear about. Uh, Men go off to war. Who do you think took over our factories?
oh, the women did for sure.
They like to say that, right? But I was talking to a Hispanic guy, and he told me that when we went off to war, like our workforce was dwindled here. Okay, so that's
Mhm.
when a lot of Hispanics actually came up here to work. And they
Yeah,
were the
like you
ones.
and Dad, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of people came up north, and they were, there were so many jobs available because the men were
Right.
gone. You know, and he told me, he said, "Hey, we came up here when you guys went and you know, you guys fought, and
The
took care of
wars.
the war, and we took care of the jobs and the women." And
Shit talking
it's
of.
like, you know what? They don't talk about that. They always act like all the women, like, they show the woman with, showing her muscle, like wearing the thing on her head.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, the vintage stuff. Yeah.
yeah, where the women had all these factory and uh, stuff, but really, yeah, it's that's when a lot of Hispanics actually came up here to work, and that makes sense, don't it? And
Yeah, you'd be a fool not to think that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
just like where some of these women are really like, oh, we don't need men, but men are the builders. I mean, most of the buildings have been built, the roads, the most of the, not a knock on women, but a lot of
Right.
things we have are because of, you know, men had to tough it out to take care of their families. But,
Right.
it's a lot. You got to give a lot of credit to where
Right.
credit is with that. But
And we're really open minded on the Spanish people. Any of the ones from South America. We're into that because we both like speak Spanish. You speak way better Spanish than I do, of course. But yeah, so
uh,
it's kind of cool to know the good history that they've done here instead of just hearing about the border all the time getting beat in the head like every one of them's bringing drugs over. That's not so at all. You know.
that's the
Yeah.
problem. If there was a way, that's the whole thing. Just come over here. A lot of people just want to get up here and get a job, but the fact is, if it wasn't for the fentanyl and some of the crime stuff, it wouldn't scare people so bad because I'm
No.
anybody that wants to work, I'll be like, hey man, go get a job. I don't have a problem as long as people want to work. But if they bring problems here, then I'm against that. But
Right.
that's
Like my buddy Julio, he came here, he's one, I said something earlier maybe about it, but he's from New Guy. He came through in the underground to Nogales, Mexico to Nogales, Arizona, right? He
Mhm.
came here, went to work with me, and he's owned like 3 or 4 restaurants. You know what I mean? I mean, Americans are going to get off their butt and figure out a way to own a business and be able to work it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think Americans are so soft now that the
Yeah. Well,
Mexicans
it's
could almost take
schools.
any of our job. You know?
It, it's the schools. Um, when they start taking away the flag, and well, like when we were in school, we both got beat by the teachers. Um,
Yeah, I got my hand smacked for throwing a snowball by a ruler or a yardstick
yeah. Did you ever get paddled?
twice. Once by Mister uh,
You don't gotta say their names.
Mr. Mr. Jernus, and Mr. Archer both whooped me.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't say their names though.
Yeah,
It's
that's all right. I'm proud of it, man. They're
yeah,
good people. You know what's funny though, man? They show me all kinds of love and respect. So you know what I mean.
yeah.
Now that I got older, and I was an asshole hoodlum back then.
Well, back then they just like they didn't call your mom. They just here get them out in the hall, beat them a little bit, and send them back to class.
Right.
Um, now
I
everything
think we
is
need.
soft. Yeah,
I think they need to do it.
you need.
'Cause these,
I need a timeout.
you know,
And,
because now you got these teachers wanting to stay home now all the time because now the COVID thing,
well,
and
they're scared. I mean, you got kids bringing guns to school. I mean, I'm sure they did back then, but um,
but the kids don't mind anymore.
yeah, it's just that's the big problem.
And people are just putting their blinders on, going through life day to day, 7 days a week, going, "Oh, it's going to get better." No, nothing's going to get better. It's going to get worse if we don't do something about it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's all turned into about gender neutral and identification and social everything. Well, these kids they record their teachers doing stuff, and it's like everything is
Mhm.
everybody's afraid of the camera. You know,
It's like wait for the mistake so we can catch it. Yeah,
yeah. So what can we? They gonna be the next trending video. So that's
it's
the
like
problem.
they're catching a falling knife at that point. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think a lot of this stuff happened when they took. Even if you don't agree with certain faiths, when they took. I'm sorry, but this country was built on Christian beliefs. I mean, to me, it includes Catholic, everything really. I don't care what religion you are. It's just the fact that it's a God, and it's just a set of morals. If you even if you're atheist, it's a set of morals. Um,
right,
and when they started taking the morals out of school, then everything goes. You know, and
right. Well, and it starts at home too, because even I am, whatever you call it, guilty of this is when you don't sit at the table and eat with your family no more. You go in your room and you eat supper. Half the kids do nowadays. And I
uh,
let my kids do that too. So the whole value system starts falling apart at that point. I think too. Because they don't even know what real love is anymore because nobody spends any time with each other anymore.
yeah,
You know,
even though we had like I would consider a pretty rough childhood, considered the most
yeah,
at the time.
super
Um,
rough.
do you
Yeah,
remember?
I,
Do you
things were
remember?
super.
Yeah, there's a super. Do you remember the part though? Like we're going to bed, be like, "Good night, John. Good night."
Yeah,
Just like
like the Waltons.
yeah,
Yeah,
we did that.
exactly, the Waltons. Yeah,
Like, uh, yeah, it was just sort of the moments of just
right,
it's funny. It's just it was
right.
just
Well,
them little
that,
them little memories of the
right,
family.
and and somehow we were taught to say "I love you" every time you see somebody before they leave, even. Our kids and everything. And I've talked to people at work, different jobs that I've had, over the years. And a lot of them said they didn't say "I love you" to their mom and dad hardly at all. And I'm like,
Yeah, that
really?
just sounds crazy to me.
It
But
does, don't it? Yeah. I mean, and we're the ones that always talk about, man, we had a rough childhood, and shit like that. But man, did we really? I don't know.
hey,
You
you
know?
know what? All I say is I remember if you got your ass beat, the ice cream was coming next. So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll take a good ass whooping, and then I'm gonna get some ice cream pretty soon here. It's like, you'd be getting yelled at, hollered at next minute. You want a bowl of ice cream? It's like, yeah.
Well, and I understand that now too, being a parent, because after you do holler at your kid or whoop them, it's like, all right, I feel bad a little bit now that I had to do that. You gotta show them who you are, and then show them that you have that. What would
Yeah.
you say the other thing is? There's a word for it, brother. Uh,
Yeah.
what
I'm
is it?
lost.
Man, I'm trying sympathy, not sympathy, but I can't think of it.
I remember the whole like this. Sorry, son, this hurts me more than it hurts you. Not
Okay.
from my dad, but people say, "Oh, this," but I always said, "Man, this is gonna hurt you more than it's gonna hurt me." 'Cause, but I, thankfully, I've only had to give out a handful of spankings, but
Right.
you do feel bad, and because it was never out of anger, and I think
Right.
back in the 70s and 80s, where people took it too far was when it was out of anger instead of just out of you did it was like if people could just do it for, hey, you done something wrong, here's your little spanking, now you're on your
Right.
way. More of like,
Deal
you
with
pissed me off,
punishment. You done.
beat you, and
Right.
that was the problem in the 70s and 80s too much. There was so much emotional push that went with it, like that they were, and I think that's where the mental and physical abuse was too much for most people to handle back then. So that's why they kind of frown upon it so much now. But I think they need to bring back a little of the like if a teacher had a paddle, I
Right.
think kids would mind a little bit more. Like especially when they had holes drilled in them and stuff. They had some pretty cool ass paddles
Right.
at our schools back in the day. So yeah, they even had names. But yeah.
Man, it didn't mess up, man. Colt tried to call in. That's
Oh.
good.
So, hey, let's move on to something more positive. I was talking about it earlier, but um, well, let's talk about the balloon. Um,
Yeah.
so they shot down this balloon that had been it was tracked going all the way from it went all the way up to Alaska, down through Canada, through Montana. It was the size of three stagecoach buses, and made it over to South Carolina, and they shot it down. Um, well, they shot it with a heat missile from a jet fighter plane or whatever,
Right.
just so they didn't destroy everything. Um, what would you have done differently?
Man, I don't know. But see, that's the thing. You never know what's in it. You know.
What would be
I
your
think,
biggest fear of what was in it?
oh, fentanyl. It could have been anything silly, even. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
it could have been acid in it. Any of this new way of them hurting us in any way. Here,
Uh-huh.
let's run a test. They actually did it to themselves if we hit it and knocked a hole in it. You know what I mean?
Right. It could have
So,
been any three stage. I mean, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it could have bombs, but they could be just testing three, four fake things through just so that the fifth thing could have something really, really dangerous,
right.
and the balloons can get bigger and bigger. So we don't, you know, like if they just kept sending them through every other week, after a while, we would be like, we'd start ignoring them. But I think it's, you know, just take it down, see what's in it. But the fact that they lied and said it was a civilian weather balloon,
Right.
yeah, yeah, it just seems like a little much to me.
Yeah, we're doing a podcast. Podcast, man.
Yeah, are you talking to somebody?
Sending something real quick. Yeah,
Oh,
I got
okay.
I got a message, so I had to send something.
I just
But
heard. Sound
we're
like
good.
somebody, somebody entered my property a second ago. I heard the
Camera.
motion go off. No, the motion thing, but then the dog was barking. So, uh, yeah, it's all right. But all
Let
right,
them come,
and
bro.
Yeah.
Are you?
Hey,
Are you? We're getting
I'm
ready for whatever, right?
yeah, I'm ready. But I won't get too much into all that. So anyways, and one other thing, we might as well talk about some superhero stuff.
Yeah.
Earlier you and I was talking about, DC and Marvel have characters that are much like each other. Like if I say DC Batman, who is Marvel's Batman, John?
DC's Batman. Man, we just went over this, didn't we?
Yeah. If I say Batman, okay, he's got cool stuff.
Oh,
He's
you said,
rich.
yeah, yeah. It's Iron Man.
Yeah, Iron Man would be
Yeah.
like is Marvel's version of Batman. But see, Spider Man didn't necessarily have anybody, but in 2018 they had a guy named Sideways. So if you're a listener and you've never heard of Sideways, now's your chance to go look them up. And the comics are still fairly cheap. And it's just from 2018. So Sideways is their version of DC's version of Sideways is DC's version of Spider-Man, which I kind of went over the comic and I didn't think it was all that great. So I don't. I personally don't think it's going to take off, but you never know what's going to take off. So
You don't?
no, I
It's,
mean it could be the
I
next
mean,
billion dollar
remember the
franchise.
movie Sling Blade? That movie wasn't that great, but man, everybody watched it.
Which movie?
With Billy Bob Thornton, Sling Blade. The
Oh
movie
yeah, yeah,
itself wasn't great at all. Yeah,
yeah. It went over time. It just sort of like became a
like a
cult classic.
cult classic. Yeah.
Everybody's talking like him, and yeah, he did great in that movie.
Hmm.
Yeah, he did. It was just an unusual, strange sort of movie. Yeah.
You know,
So, well, just like the old superhero movies until Batman came out, um, they were pretty crappy.
right?
Yeah. Original
Yeah, they're all like look like they
Michael
were recorded on our phones now.
Michael Keaton Batman.
Right.
What's that? And it was just like huge because to me, Superman, Christopher Reeve Superman was
Hmm.
always shit.
Right.
And I was like, man, people need to make a big deal of. But I didn't even. I always looked at Batman as being sort of like B budget compared to Superman. Um, but everybody had the Batman hats and
Yeah.
uh, just it was nuts. I just couldn't believe it. And
Man, I
boy, did
watched that first one with him. Man, I bet you hundreds of times.
yeah. Well,
Batman movie.
to me, I think me and you've talked about before. Batman is our favorite, or Michael Keaton's our favorite Batman.
Oh yeah. I'm glad they're bringing him back, which now they're bringing him back when he's old. You know?
Yeah,
Which is kind of cool because then if they give him the dog Goliath and everything that he has on the cartoon, that would be really cool.
huh.
You know,
Now the that Birdman movie that was garbage. What was that all
oh
about?
God, that was terrible. Yeah,
Like, what was he even thinking? Was he was wanting to come back as Batman that bad or
I don't
what?
know. It was weird as crap, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, almost like, dude, what are you doing? It's some independently strange.
yeah.
Uh,
It was like, were you guys drunk or high when you made this script or what? I mean,
yeah,
to me, it was totally just a bunch of random talking. Yeah,
yeah, it was a very um independent-y.
you know, some people might have liked it. I don't know, but I didn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
agree
when I
with
watch a superhero movie, I want the superhero to have some sort of abilities. I want the bad guy
you.
to
Right.
like you know be good. I don't know. I just little CGI isn't bad when it gets to be over the top. It's a little much, but
Exactly.
no, I did enjoy. I did watch the new Love and Thunder Thor movie,
Right.
and I don't know your take on it. We talked a little bit about it,
Yeah, I
but
bought or
okay.
rented
See,
it, I should say.
now, like when I was reading about it, about how the director. Now I've heard that who's the guy who plays Thor? I can't think of his name.
Uh,
Yeah, muscular
he's got a
dude.
brother too. Yeah.
I forgot his name. It's all right. Chris.
You can tell we're
like,
not women. See, women would be able to tell us that right away.
Yeah, I'm just
I'll
to
look
me he's
it up.
Thor. He's Thor. Yeah. Well, yeah. This is the web. We sling in the web. So, all right. The director of the movie was saying that he was trying to shoot it in the eyes of like a 6-year-old, right? And I realized this is definitely true, especially towards the end when he had the little kids. I don't want to give the ending away, but they were basically beating up the bad guys. Thor was able to give them powers, and it was just fun. I can imagine if you were a little kid watching this, how much fun that movie was. If we were little kids watching it, and I did
It's
enjoy it.
Liam Neeson, ain't it? No, not Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson, no,
Chris
that's fun.
Hemsworth.
Yeah, that's him. If you say it wrong, that's all right. But it was really good. It was really good, and uh, like I said, I didn't give away too much of the movie away, but I really enjoyed that one and the Ragnarok one, both.
Right.
They were it's fun. Now with them movies, I understand you're gonna have to have CGI because he's a god. You know what I mean? And it's all like flying around and crazy. But it was a lot of fun, and so I did enjoy that a lot. But well, I guess that's anything else you want to add?
Well, that's good for our first one. What do you
Good
think?
enough.
Think
Yeah,
everybody
we're
got to know us a little bit, and
it's about
hopefully,
37 minutes in.
if you
It's
can,
good.
please like and subscribe and share on Facebook or any of your multimedia.
Wherever you got it. Yeah, just
Yeah, please help us out. We need all the help we can get.
yeah, we're not going to ask for any money or throw ads at you until we get a
Yeah,
bunch of them made. But
yeah. After about 50, we will. Right,
yeah,
50
yeah,
subscribers or so.
telling you to buy merchandise and
Yeah.
everything else. But yeah, it's just two brothers talking smack about
And
whatever.
I'll sell my toenails to you later on and everything if you guys want.
No, I won't. No. Yeah.
All right, man. Yeah, we'll have to talk about all the craziness like that on our next episode. What people are making money off of on the web.
Oh goodness. All right.
Crazy.
Yep. I know. I've heard of a few. All right.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later, brother.
Talk to you guys later. Hey, peace out, brother.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
And bye.